wanted to introduce the incredible Dr. Marie-Ange. Did I say your name right? I probably
No,
did.
you definitely didn't.
Oh, okay, then you
It's
say
all
it.
right, John.
Okay.
Okay,
No,
but
it's Marie Angel, isn't that you said I can call you Marie Angel?
Yeah, it's Marie-Ange. It's French. It means Mary Angel.
Okay. Well, welcome. Marie is a seasoned tech, a product executive for the last 15 years here in Silicon Valley. She's a graduate from UC Berkeley in engineering, a community leader, a mentor. She's dedicated her career to empowering others. She just wrote and finished this book and wrote it in such a short period of time. For such a time as this, it's about her journey of growing up in Africa and coming over here to Silicon Valley. But
oh
I
my
tell
God.
you,
Okay.
when Tanya and I met Marie, she is a fireball and she has such a great story. We're so happy and blessed that you're here. Welcome, Marie.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really privileged and humbled to be here, to be invited in this forum. It's not, I think it's my first time actually to be part of like a Compass real estate kind of community and share my story. And I want to say thank you also to Lisa. Our kids know each other, yeah, for a decade since they were in preschool. And when she came to one of the events I did at the Los Gatos Club talking about this story, she was like, I would like to invite you to our community, real estate community. So Lisa, thank you so much. You are a great friend, and Zoe love Maddie. So yeah, I was really listening to some of the conversation while you were just chit chatting, and you feel like a wonderful group. I had a lot of fun listening to all what is happening.
We are a fun group, and this group got together in the beginning of 2020 and just came together. We share life stories. As you can tell, we're all very comfortable with each other, a little too comfortable. And it's just a very transparent, open. Sometimes we talk business, but mostly it's about hearing what's going on in their lives.
That's beautiful. We
And
need
that's
that.
why we're here chatting with you today.
That's
Yes.
right. So, Marie, you grew up in Africa and you were leading and heading up so much of so many major companies that are in high tech. And what life lessons did you learn growing up early in your days in Africa that guided you today into your success?
Yeah, thank you for the question. Let me give a framework into Africa. Some people think Africa is a continent. It's a country, it's a big country, right? No, it's actually a big continent with 52 countries. And those countries are very different, different culture, different language, different food is actually different. So I grew up in Cameroon. This is Central Africa, kind of west. The New York is on the other side. Cameroon is kind of on the same equator. My first language was is French. Grew up speaking French. That's where my name comes from, Marie-Ange. And some of the values, depending on where you are in Africa, might be the same. I think there's a value of community. I talk a lot about that in my group. We have this expression Ubuntu. I don't know if you heard about Ubuntu. Ubuntu is actually the name of a OS, a a operating system, Linux. When I was working at Intel, means I am because we are. So that
Yep.
means that the success of one individual is the success of the whole community, that you are not by yourself in, like, America is an individualist community, right? Cameroon is actually, Africa is like, it's the whole community. When somebody, like when I was coming to the US, it's the whole community that was excited, that send you like um, purposely into your future. That's number one. Number two, it's a culture of respect. The best way to put it is, I speak a little bit about that in my book. When somebody is an adult or older than you, there's always some kind of reference. I just came back from Japan. I see they do the same thing. You don't call, like I would tell my kids, Lisa, don't call her Lisa, call her Auntie Lisa. She's an auntie. It's part of the respect, that culture of honor the elderly, that culture of even your teacher. I have that. I still have that problem when I came to the US. You don't call a teacher by his first name. You say Mr., Mrs., and stuff like that. So there's a high regard to respect, to authority.
Mhm.
And the last point that I mentioned in my book, something that has also impacted me is, of course, food. We gather around food like most of the culture in the world. I think I've seen that in the US with Thanksgiving, Mexican culture, Latino, friends, and all that. But we don't have a concept of space. When I came to the US, you have the whole concept. This is my space, my personal space. This is, things are like mine. In Cameroon, for instance, yeah, I don't even remember that you say this is my space. You like to be cozy. You like to be like next to each other. In a point where when somebody is sick, somebody has cold or those virus, if you don't come closer to person, it's actually an insult that you are telling me that I'm sick. You cannot come close to me. When I came here, I realized, oh, actually, it's because of the germs, and we have to quickly. Yeah, we don't want to get sick. But over there, it's like you people like that warm. I still love to hug because of that. It's like that. It just make you who you are and make you feel like other people love you and care about you. I'm just sharing some few cultural diversion that I've learned, and I also share it in my book. But in summary, as a kid, I think I was a groundbreaker in that culture because I was that kid that question a lot of stuff, assumption that my parents, people that I grew up took for granted. I have a conversation in chapter 1 of my book where my aunt asked me, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And without hesitation, I want to think I was 5, 6. I was in preschool or kindergarten. I want to be the first woman to go on the moon. At the time, I just read a book, a children book in our library about Apollo mission, the Neil Armstrong being the first man going to the moon. And I was so excited. I was so fascinated that there was a whole world outside our galaxy. And I was like, I want to do that. I want to do that. So imagine a young girl, a kid in a developing country. You have no concept of like, moon or whatever. And this was what I want to do. And I was really, really sure I'm going to do that. I was really excited. And I tell that to my auntie, who is from the other generation. And she look at me, she tell me, girls don't go to the moon. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I mean, I still remember the conversation actually vividly in my head. And I push the envelope. And again, we don't push the authority. When an adult says something, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. You don't question that. But I was that kid that questioned, why can't I go to the moon? And she answered, because to go to the moon, you have to go do a lot of studies, multiple years of study. And by the time you finish your education, no man will want to marry you. It's a culture of, as a woman, you get married and you have kids. You have to take care of your husband and take care of your kids. And it's still true. I've talked to many people who have read the book and they say, Marie-Ange hasn't changed. It changed a little bit, like 5%, 10%. We see in a little noodle going to women can achieve their career and be also, part of, contributing to the society, but it's still that stigma. So, and at that moment, I didn't say anything, but I was like, this is not going to be me. I'm going to be an engineer. I'm going to go to the moon. So this is the type of kid I grew up with. I used to question. I used to dream big in a culture where it was not encouraged to dream big. I mean, the reality, Cameroon is still one of the poorest country in the world. My parent divorced. Another reality in my book, my parent divorced when I was a kid. Divorce was a taboo. You don't talk. I never talk about it actually in my book. People who know me knew that because it was shameful. You didn't do that in our culture. So I grew up in that without knowing that it was kind of shameful. I was the only kid in the class whose parent was divorced. And she was actually a trailblazer in her own way. She was a medical doctor, among the first few women to graduate from medical school in our country. She had her own challenge raising. My parents fought for custody of the children. Finally, she got the custody of my sister and I, which was also unheard in our culture. Women don't get custody. It was the men because it was a patriarch society. So there's a lot of first in my memoir in my life. And I had a good role model in my mom, somebody who has achieved a career. I was aspiring to, she was a medical doctor. I wanted to become an engineer. And when I say that I want to be the first woman on the moon, and she saw my passion, she actually was one of my advocate very young. She saved, let me stop here, I want to say 10, 15 years of her life to send me to America for college. I still, every time I say that, I tear up because I know the sacrifice. I saw her working nights hours as a single mom in a culture where it was taboo to raise two little girls. I saw her cry sometimes. I share some experience where I find her in her bedroom crying. I'm a kid. You see your parent crying and you don't know what to do. You don't even know how to react to that. And she was making, when I did a conversion, about $200 per month. That's what a medical doctor makes in Cameroon. It's a fancy, maybe privileged job compared to other jobs, but the salary is not the same as in the US. So I saw how she really put her life in break to give me a future, to make sure that I fulfill my dream. And when I came to the US, I got it from my mom, the resilience, the grit, the passion to succeed. I was like, that woman saved that much. I cannot fail. I have no excuse. And although, so I'm sharing a lot of little experience growing up, which kind of carry as I came to the US, start sharing about arriving my first semester, the money is gone. It was 15,000 US dollar. I have the bank statement. I still have the bank statement in my bedroom here. And every time I see that, I cry. 15,000 US dollar in a semester, it was gone. I was in Richmond, Virginia for my college. It was gone. I didn't have money. So seeing that my mom has sacrificed that much, what do? Do I just give up? I started from the bottom. And I'm proud to say that I was working in a fast food in Richmond, Virginia, $5 making minimum wage, $5 per hour. And at the same time, taking 26 unit credit in college.
So
Because,
many units. That's
yes,
insane. It really is. And it really
because
speaks to your drive.
because I was like, I cannot fail. I don't have anybody who's going to pay for this education, right? My mom saved everything. How can I shrink a 4 years program into as minimum as I can?
Yeah.
That
And how
was what
long
was
did it take you?
it took me 2.5 years instead of 4 years to get my
At
bachelor.
26 units a semester.
Yes,
Wow.
and I graduated as the valedictorian, still keeping my GPA because I made a deal with I had to get a special permission for the president of academic affairs to do
Right.
that.
They won't let you take
They
more
would
than,
not
I
let
don't
me do
know,
that.
16. You
So
probably have to get permission at 20. Yeah.
yes, I had to get a deal. If your grades go down, we stop this. This is crazy. You can't do this. And I kept on having a 4.0 GPA the whole time. That's how he let me do that. That's how I
Yep.
passed.
Yep. They can't argue with that. If you're succeeding, they can't argue with that. So
Yeah,
well done.
yeah.
Wow. I have to say, I love the I am because we are. That's just a beautiful connection and just really shows the power of, it really is, it takes a village. Everybody is part of that process.
Yes.
I'm amazed at, thank you so much for the cultural background. That really helps give a little bit of perspective, I think, for everybody here on the call. What can you share about? I know that your mom worked, 2, 3 jobs, it was constant. But for your own mindset, most people, when they hear something like, yeah, girls don't do that, that's not going to be possible for you. How did you keep your mindset in the way that, well, that doesn't apply to me because I'm still going to do that? How did you do that?
Yeah, that's a beautiful, very insightful question. I've gotten different version of this question. By the way, for the last 3 months, I've been speaking a lot. And as the book has been really touching life and inspiring people, I'm very humbled by that. I've been speaking different podcasts and events. I think I've got different part of the question. What keeps you going?
Yeah.
What is that drive? And to be honest, I don't think I have a perfect answer. What I know is that we are uniquely wonderfully made. And that comes down from my faith. I am a person of faith. I'm a Christian. And I do believe, and the title of the book actually, For Such a Time as This, come from the Bible, for those of you guys who read the Bible or who are Christian, where there's this story in Esther. Esther is one of the book in the Old Testament, the Torah for the Jewish. Esther was a young girl, and she was taken in captivity. She was a slave in Jerusalem. Jerusalem was destroyed by the Babylonian. You can read the story when you have time. And she was taken in captivity as a slave by the Persian. Babylon first destroyed, and then the Persian came. And as a young girl, she was raised by her uncle Mordecai. And by divine circumstance, she became the queen. Eventually, there's a lot of story behind, but she became the queen in the kingdom of Persia at the time. And there's a plot that is being made that all the Jewish people will be killed. When she was queen, she never revealed her identity. She's actually from the Jewish lineage. She never revealed that identity. So her uncle Mordecai, who raised her, come in hiding to her in the palace and tell her, you know what, Esther, there's a plot that all the Jewish people will be killed. And now you are in the kingdom and nobody knows you're a Jew. Don't you think that maybe you were placed in the kingdom for such a time as this, for such a time as this? That's the title of my book. So at the time then, Esther take her courage. She asked her people, the Jewish people, to fast with her, and that she's going to go to plead. Normally, you were not supposed to go to see the king without being called, without an invitation. So she asked, I'm going to go plead for our security, our life. I will reveal my identity. I don't know what will happen. I might be killed, but I will do it. And she take her courage after the people pray for her. And she goes and she tells the king, you guess what? I'm actually Jewish. Please don't kill my people. This is what is going to happen. And eventually the people of the Jewish are not killed. And the whole story comes down to her strength and why she was placed in that kingdom. So what I believe is that each one of us, and that's actually in the beginning and in the end of my memoir, we have unique talent. We have unique abilities. Mine, for instance, I was a bold girl. I don't know. I mean, it's just DNA. I was courageous as a kid. I could speak up my mind. I was not scared. I see my daughter is very much, Lisa, you know Maddie. Lisa, you know Zoe. She's very much like me. She just speak up. I know other kids, my niece from Germany, they are very shy. They are very quiet. There's nothing wrong with that. There's really nothing. We have different personality. We have different.
100%. Yes.
Yeah. But how do we use? There's no one personality that is better. I will not say type A, I'm a type A, type B, all that. How do you use it to make a difference? That's the purpose of my book. How do you use your background, maybe where you are coming from? I'm coming from Africa. I've learned so much from a culture of not have and all these things that I've mentioned to you, and even the poverty and all that. How do you use that to make a difference in the world? That's my intent. That's my goal as I was writing and sharing all this story.
How do you use your gifts, your talents?
Yes, your education, your network. Like I see, this is a wonderful network. Even your time, your treasure, and I do that today. And I develop a framework called the purpose framework, because my goal at the end of the day was to, yes, share this story, but what do I want the audience to remember at the end? If they forget all this story, Marie-Ange went through drama. It's drama after drama, but through the drama, I see the faithfulness of God. I see I'm able to come back, not give up. And it comes from the purpose framework. P stands for preparation. That in life, how do you prepare for what is coming up? For me, for instance, I wanted to become an astronaut, right? I started very young. I was very good in math. I took actually all the math and science class very young in Cameroon, where I major in mathematics, where you actually pick a major in high school.
I'm guessing you were the only girl majoring.
I was the only girl. This didn't stop me. And even the boys in my class, I have those conversations telling me that, Marie-Ange, what are you doing here? You need to get married, because that was the cultural thing. So preparation is number one. You unwavering faith. I'm going through the purpose framework. You stand for unwavering faith. You each each one of us need to believe that our life has a purpose. That's what I mean, that you are not here by accident. That there's something bigger. For me, my faith in God tell me that God has placed me on earth for something bigger. That's you. I stand for resilience. What I say by resilience, that life will challenge you. You will fail many times. Oh my God, I fail. And I'm sure you guys have failed. Right? If as you walk in your journey, career, adult, failure is part of the journey for those who take risk. But don't let that stop you, right? Failure is part of the success. You learn from that and you continue. That's the R. The other P, I'm going to PURPOSE. The other P stands for purposeful action. What action are you taking to reach your dream, your goal? For me, for instance, many of the career, I talk about some of the tough decisions I did in corporate America, where sometimes I had to speak up when it was not politically correct. And it caused me some stuff. So take some purposeful action to be able to get to the next level. O stand for others focused leadership. It goes to the whole Ubuntu, I am because we are. How do we make sure that our leadership is not just for ourselves, but we give back? I am so passionate about giving back. That's why I wake up at 6 a.m. to share with you. I've been doing that for all my last 10, 15 years, whatever. You don't have to be a super, you know something that somebody doesn't have. Reach out and give back. The S stand for steadfast courage. It takes courageous step to reach, to wake up every day, to continue to do what you guys are doing, to continue to fight for what is right, what is true. And E stand for excellence. Excellence will amplify your impact. Strive for excellence. So I developed that purpose framework to help anybody, no matter who you are. You're A type like me, you're a B type, you're a go-getter. We all can live a life of purpose. So I'm not sure if I answer your question, Tanya, but I think for me was just.
Oh, I think you answered it, girl. I think you answered it. You pounded it. You threw it at the wall. You crushed it.
Okay, thank you.
Amen.
Thank you. Thank you.
Marie, you talk in the book about there's an uncle who actually encouraged you where everyone else is saying, no, don't do this, be quiet, you can't do this, you can't do this, but you had an uncle who was different. And I loved that part of the book. Tell me a little about your uncle and how he influenced you.
Yeah, thank you for asking. My uncle actually passed away. I was listening to some of you guys sharing about some of your favorite people. Somebody talk about his aunt passing away and he has the ashes in the house. Yeah, it takes me back to that uncle. He passed away a few years ago, and he was also a champion, a cheerleader. Actually, by the way, in my book, I acknowledge so many people who God has placed in my journey to bring me where I am. And I believe we all have those people that we can reach out and say thank you. So yeah, when I was a kid, when I spoke up and I was bold and I was saying stuff that probably were not acceptable in the cultural sense, because you don't speak up to authority, you just stay quiet. My uncle would take me aside in the room. I still remember as a kid, him encouraging and telling me, Marie-Ange, this world is going to be tough. This world is going to be, you're going to have a lot of obstacles. I think I remember the way he mentioned, great inventor, great scientists are people who are able to break the status quo, to ask question that people will assume we have the answer, but never assume. I still remember that. And as a kid, in a culture where it's not allowed, it just gives you a fresh breath of air. He would not say it in public because he just didn't want to be pushed back. He knows the cultural context. It's now that I remember, it makes sense that he would just take me on the side, just encourage me. And before he actually passed away, I went back to Cameroon after my PhD from Berkeley, and I had a one-on-one with him. He was you could tell, even in the old age, already sick. He was very, very proud of me. We were just hugging. We didn't say much, but you could see that he was really, really like, this is my baby girl. I saw this girl growing, and I'm so proud of what you've become. So yeah, I do that also, thinking about those giants who might be nameless. I don't even name him in the book. I am thinking about another young girl, another young boy, who else I can sit quietly on the side and say, you know what, you can do this. People told you you cannot do it. You can do it. And let me give you step by step. Let me help you. Let me hold your hands. I am so passionate today. I'm part of so many nonprofits, so many organizations where I spend my time mentoring, coaching, helping us other people achieve their wildest dream. As I share that story, I hope you resonate with many of you guys. How can you reach out? How can you take off somebody else? And maybe your name will not be mentioned on this live, but that person, right, will remember John did this, Tanya did this, or Lisa did this, right? So that was very precious for me.
Thank you.
That's a great story. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about a challenge that you've overcome. We've shared that you're afraid of heights, but you did conquer that. Let's talk about that.
Let's talk about that. Okay. Yeah. I'm
And I want to
afraid of
hear
heights.
about the like I know we talked about the 1 foot in front of the other and definitely, share that. But I want to hear what you were thinking as you were doing that.
Yeah. Before I share, yeah, that's actually a good side way to talk about Berkeley. I want to share quickly about
Yes.
Berkeley before I talk about that, because Berkeley was a critical season of my journey. I don't know how many people went to Cal, how many people did electrical engineering, or engineering in general at
Oh, I
Cal.
don't think there's many electrical engineers.
It was one of the toughest thing I've done in my life, really, to be honest. And why am I sharing that? Because it helped me, it helped my mental state even right now with all the challenge I face. So at Berkeley, when I arrived so I finished my bachelor in 2.5 years in Virginia.
Yes.
Apply again. I want to be the first woman to go to the moon. I wanted to become an astronaut. Applied to all the top school in the US in engineering. That was Berkeley, Stanford, and MIT at the time. Yes, I applied to some of the middle, like Georgia Tech. I mean, it's actually a good school, Michigan. But my goal was to get into the
Go
top.
blue.
I put the effort. I had a great GPA, great letter of recommendation from faculty member from my undergrad school. I did some research. So I put the best foot forward to get to all these top school. So Berkeley gave me full ride. Without Stanford, I was in the waiting list. Berkeley gave me full ride. So without second thought, that's how I came to California in 2001. Yeah, 2001. And the first day in Corey Hall, imposter syndrome hits. And I'm talking about that because I know every time I've shared about that, people have resonated with that story. I didn't feel I belong. I didn't even know to call it imposter syndrome at the time. I just didn't even know what was that. I felt
Imposter
so
syndrome
small.
is huge with realtors.
Okay. Yeah. I felt so small in
Yeah.
that big environment of Nobel Prize. I mean, Berkeley has, one of the many Nobel Prize in the university, smart people. I remember, of course, I was the only female, the only Black female in my program. I remember many of my classmates had started company like Mark Zuckerberg and Elon Musk very young. Some of them have coded since they were kids. I just got my first computer 2 years earlier when I just arrived to the US. So I really felt like I don't belong. How can I compete with all these amazing, smart people? Berkeley, in order to become a PhD student, you have to pass an exam called the qualifying exam. It's an oral exam. You're in front of 3 faculty members. You can study as much as you can. The sky's the limit. They can ask you any question they want. So I study hard. Again, remember, I was an A-type student. I didn't share my background in Cameroon. I always got A. I've never got a B. I was like that kid that when I get a B, I cry. And my daughter is just like me. I'm working on her with Zoe. She's in therapy because when she get just one thing that it's not perfect, she cries. So I come to that environment having come from like working hard and knowing that if you work hard, it pays off. Right. I didn't have a life when I was doing the 26 unit, by the way, and the fast food. I didn't have a life. My life was working in the evening and studying, working in the evening and going to school. I didn't go to museum or
You
movie.
probably didn't know what to do with any free time.
I
If
didn't
you
even have free
had a full
time.
ride, you didn't have to work 3 jobs. What did you do? You probably went crazy.
I just didn't have free time. I was just studying and working. So Berkeley, I do the same thing. I'm studying all the time and all that. And after the first year, when you take that prelim exam, 3 professors ask you question, I fail. I really fail. I was like in the middle of 3 faculty. I was intimidated. I was like, I just don't even know what I'm talking about. I fail. And that was the first time in my life. I was 21, 22. I failed. And I've never failed before. So it was like very discouraging. So now that I feel I know what it is, very discouraging, very down. I was down and I almost quitted. I was like, I can't do this thing. I just can't. I'm not good enough. I'm just going to quit. And I remember Suje King. She became eventually my advisor, Professor King. She was the chair of the electrical engineering department for a while at Berkeley. Now she's in the engineering, the Society of Engineering in Washington, D.C. She sat me down. She saw something in me. She called me to her office, sat me down, said, Marie-Ange, I see that you are very discouraged. And she shared her story. People share your story. You never know who you're going to touch. And I shared that story in the book. She told me, Marie-Ange, I came from Taiwan. Her parents were from Taiwan, background origin. My parents saved everything to send me to the US, also for education. And she came to Stanford University for her PhD, and she failed her prelim, just like me. And I look at a pioneer. I look at a woman who has done so much in this field, in silicon germanium, the field I wanted to study. And she told me she failed. And she's so
And that she was
vulnerable.
still alive, talking
And she
to
was
you.
still
Her
alive.
life did not fall apart.
Yeah.
Yes.
And she's so vulnerable. And she shared that with me. And she told me, Marie-Ange, I believe in you. You can do this PhD. I can help you to study the second year, not, just coach you and all that. That encouragement gave me courage to
Now,
come back.
during this time, all of your family is still in Cameroon,
All the
right?
families in Cameroon. My
Right.
mom has never come to the US. I'm the only one. I'm by myself. I'm
Wow.
21,
Yes.
all by
So
myself.
having that that person tell you that they believe in you, I mean, it really gave you a lifeline again. It gave you
Yes,
somebody else to now, because you weren't just doing this for you.
you
You
got
were
it.
doing this to please those who had been encouraging you
Yes,
and working their asses off for you so
yes,
that you could get here. But
yes,
when you're so far from them, it's been 2.5, 3 years now,
yes.
you start to lose that rope, that tether that kept you
Mhm,
there. So
mhm.
I imagine that person suddenly gave you somebody new to really strive to please, to prove to her that yes, she was right, that yes, you can do
You
it.
got it. It was a lifeline for me because I
Yeah.
remember I was really discouraged. Again, this was my first time for failing. I've never failed
Right.
in my life.
Right.
And I didn't know
Mentally
what was the
devastating.
feeling. Yeah.
Yes.
The feeling of failure that like I was feeling like, oh, you are so bad. You are so
You
I was
still had to
really,
learn the lesson that
yes,
failure did not define who you
you
are.
got it. You got it. Now I learned it. Now I've failed so many times
Yeah.
after that.
Now you know. But
That
that
failure
first
doesn't define
time
you.
when your expectation has been set so high, it
Right,
takes
yeah.
a while and it is devastating.
Yes.
But it takes time to realize that did not define you.
You got it. You got it. And why am I sharing that story? I'll come back to the hiking. I didn't forget the hiking question. I'm sharing that story to say, as I failed and I came back, Suje King actually was very instrumental. I studied smarter the second year. She gave me some tips to study. I passed my prelim exam the second year at Berkeley. I became officially a PhD student. And the last 3 years, again, they were hard. A lot of failure. When you do research, if you've done research, there's a lot of failure in the lab. I mean, the first time you tried, I was making silicon germanium sensor, a novel material, semiconductor material to make a sensor and actuator. I'm not going to bore you with my research. It's pretty crazy. But at the end of 5 years at Berkeley, I graduated as the first. I did that research actually when I was writing my book. I was the first woman from Africa to graduate with PhD in electrical engineering and computer science from UC Berkeley.
Wow.
Being a trailblazer, now they call me back to speak to so many women and minority who are coming through the department.
Mhm.
It took failure for me to get to that level.
You failed forward.
Yes, I fell forward.
Yeah.
And that experience now, every time I have a new challenge in life, at work I have had challenge. I've worked to many of these big tech company. In my personal life, I share about fertility issue, many issue in my book. I had personal challenge. I go back to that story. Marie-Ange, you remember you failed, but what did you learn through the failure? So coming back to the hiking thing, I knew I'm scared of height. I knew that um, I need to overcome that. I cannot stay like that. I cannot keep on being scared. So I decided I'm going to challenge that. And I was part of a group called BSF Bible Study Fellowship, where throughout the year we take one book of the Bible, we go deep and we study that. So as part of that Bible Study Fellowship, we had,
In all your free time.
Yeah, that was after Berkeley, by the way. That was when I started working at Intel, my first job at Intel.
Okay.
So I had a little bit of free time. I
Okay,
was done
good.
with, crazy of school. Even Berkeley, I didn't have a life, by the way. Berkeley was like lab, classes, lab, classes, lab, classes. I finished my PhD in 5 years, which was actually pretty unheard because most people is 6, 7, 8 years.
Yeah.
Again, I give all the glory to God. But what I want to say is that experience failing at Berkeley helped me to see that, okay, you need to overcome your challenge and you can overcome them, right? So being part of the BSF and they had planning a trip to Yosemite. At the time, it was when you could do half dome. Today, you have to make a reservation. Half dome is the toughest hill in Yosemite. It's like really like a dome, right?
Yeah. Okay. So real quick,
explain
anybody
what it is.
here, does everybody know, or has everybody been to Yosemite in California? I guess, or have seen. Yeah. So this is just want to give a little bit of perspective. She's talking about climbing a sheer cliff.
Yes.
Half dome.
Yeah.
Half dome. It's a cliff. It's actually a cliff.
It really is. Yes.
If you've climbed Half Dome, type me in the
realize.
chat if you've done that. I have not because I'm afraid of heights. So
and that was why I did that, by the way, John, because I was afraid of height. And I wanted to like overcome that. I really wanted, I was like, I'm not going to continue to live my life being afraid of height. How do I overcome that? So they were planning a trip. BSF is planning that trip. So I'm going to go. There's a lot of, maybe 5. I think we were like 20, but 5 of the crazy people, hikers, say we're going to do till the top.
And climb Half Dome.
Yes, Half Dome. You can Google it. You can find the picture.
Yeah.
So I say, I'm going to join you guys. I'm a hiker. I'm a hiker. I'm like Lisa said, we exercise every day. I love exercising. So that exercise part was not a problem. It was the steep, the final, whatever, 45 minutes where you have to climb on that.
Yes, with the
tether. You're not strapped in with anything. You're not strapped in or hooked in. You're just
not hooked. You're not striping.
Oh, geez.
So it's really what I learned, to answer your question, Tanya. Trusting your partner. So it's a one lane. At the end, it's really one lane, one on top of the one in front of other. You hold a rope to pull yourself in it's a rock, right? The rock is like 45 degrees.
Yes.
You pull yourself. So you have to trust the person in front of you and behind you. And of course, for me, I trust God. But it's really trusting the community, the partnership. Again, I am because you are.
Because they are. Yes.
They are. So, and not thinking about being in the moment, the whole thing about being in the moment. Don't think about anything. If I start thinking about looking down, I got scared. I was not looking down.
Right.
I was not even trying to figure out how I'm going to come down, because that was another, just focus on going
Don't think about that.
One goal at a time. Going down is tougher than going up, right?
Yes, it's actually tougher. Let me explain then. So to go up now, the last, again, the first is the whole day hike. The first 6 hours, 7 hours is breathe. It's just hiking for me. I get tired, but I'm fine. But the last like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, is that rock where you have to pull yourself and basically it's almost like mountain climbing, but with nothing. You are not tied. So that's where if you make a mistake, you die. There's no other option. You know that
there's no other option.
So 1 step, 2 step, 1 step. You don't think about being in the moment, being the present, and trusting the person and in front of you. Eventually, I have a picture I can share later. I got to the top of the rock. Enjoy the moment. We spent like 30 minutes there enjoying, taking picture. I did it. I did a celebration. Going down, like John said, it was the toughest moment. You are not going with your body going down. My brain will just freak out, right? That again, you are going back with your
back yourself down.
Back down. Yeah. And same idea. 1 step, down, 1 step down, 1 step down, and you just trust again the person. You have to hold the other person in front. And if you are tired, if you are scared, sometimes I was scared. Can we stop? Can we stop? I want to breathe. Can we stop? And the other people stop. It's okay, Marie-Ange. We are helping each other. You're gonna make it. You keep on encouraging till you pass that rock, which is the terrible part of the hike, and then the rest is just the regular hike. So being able to do that, I think Berkeley was a big instrumental thing for me. It was like, if you did Berkeley, you can do anything. That's the way I think now. When
Yeah.
when I have a new challenge, I say, Marie-Ange, you did Berkeley, right? You remember how you failed and you were so discouraged, you wanted to give up, but you were able to graduate as the first African person of African descent, woman.
It's really about how you conquered it, how you
Yes,
overcame that challenge.
yes,
At the time was the toughest thing ever for you because you had never faced that perspective before.
you got it.
And knowing that you passed it, you conquered it, you crushed it, you can't do anything.
You got it. You got it.
So real quick, and we're running out of time, so I hate this part because we are getting to the time. But what do you tell what do you tell to your daughters? What do you say to them that maybe you wish somebody else had said to you?
You can do anything. The sky is the limit. Don't limit yourself to what your environment, what others, what society tells you. I tell that on this part of the book also. I finished the book. The sky is still the limit. I tell that to Zoe. What I've achieved is just this level. You can go higher than that. And all the people I mentor, so many young people today, and even you, whatever you put your mind into, you can do it.
It's beautiful.
I say, yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna end. This is really fun. Just a real quick answers. If you could live anywhere, whether it was at the beach, or a mountain house, or I don't know. You just got back from Japan. So,
Yes.
where would you pick? Where would you want to live?
I love Japan. I really did. We had a wonderful
I hear
time.
that so often.
There's everything. There's mountain. There's city. If you love the city, I didn't like the city. I'm not a city person. The culture was beautiful. Yeah, I would pick Japan. Maybe because it's recency, right? Recency
I know
bias.
I kind of leaned you that way. I didn't mean to,
Yeah.
but
But there's everything, by the way. There's food, the culture, the mountain. I heard skiing in the north. We didn't get to skiing. My kids love skiing. I heard there's also beach. So I love that culture. The
and you
whole
just got
mix.
back yesterday.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, thank you for
Yes.
making
I'm
time.
still a little jet lagged, but it was wonderful time. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll bet. Okay, favorite ice cream.
Chocolate chip.
Always a good one.
Yeah.
If you could go anywhere in the past or present, where would you go and why?
Location or time frame?
Yeah, sure. Time frame.
I will draw from my faith. I've read so much the Bible. It's going to be amazing for me to go back in the time of Jesus, all the story that I've read in the scripture and living them myself. Because sometimes when I read the scripture, seeing the miracle, some of the stuff that is being narrated, I'm like, I wish I was there. So I would say like 2000 years ago in Jerusalem, in Israel, being part of the whole story that I read in the
Wow.
scripture.
I love that Esther has been a part of your motivation throughout your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, you bringing up the story of Esther. I hadn't heard that story for a while, and the detail and the power and the guts she had to
Mhm.
save her people. I mean,
Mhm.
and it really is so much with your story of you just saying, not taking no for an answer. You know your passion, you're going to do it. I don't care if people say no.
Mhm.
But thank you for sharing that. Oh my
You're
gosh.
welcome. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, and last question. When are you going to the moon?
Yes.
Beautiful question. I like to joke when I've been giving this presentation the last 3 months since my book was published. I have a picture actually in one of the slide where I see I share how I was working the clean room in Berkeley, microfabrication. You wear the bunny suit, like you cover your hair,
Yes.
your body is almost similar to the clothes that the astronaut wear when they go to the moon. And why did we do that? Is because I was making device semiconductor device at the micro nanometer scale. This is a billion times smaller than one of your hair. That
Wow.
tiny. Cannot
Wow.
even imagine. So we're working with instrument called SCM, scanning electronic microscope. You have to be able to look at atom particle at that nanoscale, and everything has to be super clean. That's why you cover yourself. Even when you breathe, there are particles coming out of your mouth. They can mess up your semiconductor. So why am I sharing that story? Is that I tell people that this is as close as I got to get to the moon.
No, no, no,
I would
no.
still love to go with Elon Musk. Elon Musk is taking people to the moon.
Yeah,
I would
Elon,
love to
Richard
take it to the
Branson,
thing, but I've
Jeff
changed.
Bezos.
This
But
is
you
my
really
baby
need to
boy.
go, not like a Katy Perry thing, where you
Yes,
just
yes. But yeah, when I joined Berkeley, I graduated in electrical engineering, computer science. I never regretted, and the path of astronaut became just it was something that I wanted to do when I was a kid. I still became an engineer, right? So I kind of changed direction from as become an astronaut to become an electrical engineer.
Well, I'm going to try it. Marie-Ange, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us. Your story
Thank you.
truly is an inspiration to everybody and a reminder that our failures do not define us.
You got it.
Thank you
Amen.
so much.
Amen.
Thank you
Thank you.
so much. We want to wish everyone happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. We so value our collaboration, our friendship. It really means so much to Tanya and I that you support us and show up and see value in this.
And thank you again, Lisa, for the introduction. And if any of you come across somebody that you think might be beneficial to the group, we always welcome introductions like this one. And just so appreciate all of you, each and every one of you, truly. Thank you, Marie-Ange.
Tanya, I put the link of the book. I've seen people asking me the link if they want. It's on Amazon. I
Yeah.
put that right there if they want.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have it in there a couple times, and then we will also send it out. We'll send an after email to everybody, and we'll make sure it's there, as well as all of your social media and contact information. We want people to continue to be able to follow you and your success.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
You're exactly what we need
So
at this
much.
holiday season. Thank you. Thank you.